5 signs you're secretly shaping reality without anyone knowing. Have you ever wondered if you're more powerful than you appear? Not in the way of physical strength or social influence, but in a deeper, more mysterious way, like you're quietly bending reality, not through force, but through frequency. What if you've been shaping the world around you, moment by moment, simply by the way you think, feel, and perceive? The truth is, many of us are doing this every single day, and we don't even know it. We walk through life thinking we're reacting to what's happening to us, when in reality, we might be the ones causing it subtly, invisibly, but undeniably. When I say shaping reality, I don't mean some far-fetched magic trick. I'm talking about something far more real, far more potent. The alignment between your inner state and the outer world. The deeper I've gone into spiritual practice, through silent stillness and surrender, the more I've come to understand that reality is not something fixed, but fluid. It's like water, responding to the energy we emit. Think about this. Have you ever had a day where everything seemed to go wrong, and then later realized you woke up already expecting it to be a bad day? Or conversely, a moment where you were so at peace inside that even chaos felt like it couldn't touch you?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
That's not coincidence. That's co-creation. The first sign that you're secretly shaping reality is this: your emotions ripple outward invisibly. You might think your fear, your joy, your resentment, or your love is internal and personal, but it's not. Emotions are frequencies. They're vibrations. And vibrations don't stay contained. They travel. They affect the people you interact with, the situations you attract, and even the timing of events in your life. When you walk into a room full of tension, you feel it immediately, even if nobody says a word. That's the unspoken energy being broadcast, and you are broadcasting yours too, every single second. Now, here's where it gets even deeper. The universe is not random, it is reactive. It responds not to what you say you want, but to what you are, what you truly believe, feel, and expect at the core level. So when you carry a frequency of lack, even if you affirm abundance, the world mirrors what you're truly vibrating. That's why some people seem to get lucky all the time. They're not actually lucky. They're aligned. And alignment is everything. So I ask you, what energy are you emitting right now? Not what you wish you were feeling, but what you're really holding inside. Are you frustrated, anxious, hopeful, grateful? Because that is your prayer. That is your spell. That is your invisible message to the field of infinite possibility, and is being answered whether you know it or not. The second sign that you're shaping reality in secret is that your thoughts seem to echo into the physical world. Have you ever noticed how a recurring thought, especially one charged with emotion, seems to coincidentally manifest in your actual life? Like thinking about someone right before they text you, or worrying about a problem only to watch it unfold exactly as you feared. Our minds are not confined to our skulls. They are antennas, transmitters and receivers of subtle energy, and what we dwell on, we magnetize. This isn't just spiritual theory, it's quantum physics dressed in ancient robes. The observer effect in quantum mechanics shows that the act of observation itself alters the behavior of particles. What does that mean for us? It means consciousness is not passive, it's participatory. Your awareness is not just watching life unfold, it's helping to design it. And this is why mindfulness is not just a nice idea, it's a necessity if we want to live consciously. Because every angry thought, every jealous spiral, every moment of self-doubt is a brushstroke on the canvas of your future. But so is every moment of compassion, every breath of presence, every act of forgiveness. Reality is not fixed, it's fluid, and your mind is the paintbrush. But let's go even further. The third sign you're shaping reality without anyone knowing is that synchronicities start to increase. These are those strange chance events that feel too meaningful to be random. Meeting the right person at the right time. Hearing a phrase that answers a question you've been silently asking. Seeing the same symbol or number over and over again. These aren't just coincidences. They are confirmations. They are feedback from the universe, like breadcrumbs, leading you along a path you didn't even know you were walking. And the more aligned you become with your true self, the more frequent and obvious these signs become. But here's the kicker: most people ignore them. They dismiss them as flukes, as randomness. But you're starting to see the pattern, aren't you? You're starting to notice that the universe is not silent. It's whispering constantly. And when you pay attention, it begins to speak louder, more clearly. And the more you listen, the more it shows up for you. So the real question is, are you listening? The fourth sign is subtle but powerful. People start to respond to you differently, even though you haven't said a word. When you begin to shift your internal state, when you quiet the ego, when you align with love, when you forgive, when you let go, others feel it. They may not know why they feel drawn to you, or why they suddenly feel more peaceful in your presence, but they do. You've become a tuning fork for a higher frequency. You've become a mirror for what others have forgotten they are. This is the spiritual path, not of words, but of being. When you walk into a room and others stand taller, breathe deeper, become more honest, that's when you know you're shaping reality. Not by control, not by manipulation, but by resonance. You become a reminder, a living transmission. And the wildest part is, you don't even have to try. It's not about effort. It's about alignment. The more you become who you really are, the more the world begins to reorder itself around your presence. But with this comes responsibility. If you're shaping reality in secret, then everything matters more than you thought. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings matter. Your habits, your silence, your attention, it all matters. Because you are not a passive observer. You are a participant in creation, a co-creator, a spark of the divine, wrapped in human form, forgetting and remembering over and over again. And that leads us to the fifth sign. You begin to sense that time itself bends around your frequency. Have you ever felt like certain days fly by, while others drag endlessly? Or that some goals manifest instantly, while others take years? That's not just time management. That's energetic alignment. When you are fully present, fully aligned, fully surrendered to the flow of life, time bends. Things happen faster. Doors open. Resistance dissolves. Because you've stepped out of the ego's timeline and into the soul's rhythm. And in that rhythm, miracles are normal. So let me ask you this. If you knew that your every thought, emotion, and vibration was shaping the future, would you still think the same way? Feel the same fears? Carry the same resentment? Or would you pause and begin again with intention? The frequency blueprint, why your inner state is the master code of reality. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right on the outside, but somehow the results never quite line up? You say the affirmations, you visualize, you read the books, but still, life seems to respond in random, confusing ways. That's because the real power isn't in what you're doing, it's in what you're being. Your inner state, your emotional baseline, your subconscious beliefs, your moment-to-moment energy is the true architect of your external reality. It's like a master code running beneath the surface, programming your experiences in ways even your conscious mind can't fully grasp. You see, everything in the universe is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. And your emotions are like tuning forks. When you're radiating fear, you activate and attract experiences that resonate with fear. When you're radiating love, you draw in people, opportunities, and synchronicities that match the vibration of love. It's not a metaphor. It's literally how energy interacts. Like attracts like. That's why two people can walk into the same situation and have completely different experiences, because their frequencies are tuning into different channels of reality, even though they're in the same physical space. So many of us have been taught to manipulate the outer world. We hustle, we chase, we try to force things to happen. But the real key is to shift the inner world, because when your frequency changes, your timeline changes. Your field begins to attract new outcomes, new people, new possibilities. It's not necessarily about trying harder, it's about tuning better. Alignment is more powerful than effort, and alignment begins within. But here's the catch: your frequency isn't just about your conscious thoughts. It's about your unconscious programming, the beliefs you absorbed as a child, the emotional imprints you carry, the trauma you never fully processed. All of that lives in your energy field, shaping your baseline frequency. So even if you're saying, "I am abundant," if a deeper part of you believes, "I'm not worthy," then guess what reality responds to? That deeper belief, the hidden signal, the master code. This is why deep inner work matters. Not because it makes you spiritual, but because it cleans your signal. It clears the static from your frequency. When you heal, when you forgive, when you release old stories, you're not just feeling better. You're recalibrating your entire field. You're rewriting the script that reality keeps reading from. This is the real spiritual work. Not just the rituals or the mantras, but the deep, raw, honest facing of what's inside you. The parts of you that you've avoided, the patterns you've normalized, the emotions you've numbed. When you bring light to those places, your frequency rises, and reality follows. Have you ever noticed how, after a deep emotional release, whether through crying, breath work, or just a moment of profound surrender, life suddenly feels different? People treat you differently. Opportunities appear. You feel lighter, clearer, more magnetic. That's not random. That's resonance. That's the universe responding to your updated code. And let's not forget the role of presence. Presence is the purest frequency. It's when you stop trying to control everything and instead you become everything. You merge with the now. In that space, you're not projecting into the future or dragging the past behind you. You're just here, awake, alive. And in that stillness, the universe begins to align with you in extraordinary ways. Not because you forced it, but because you finally matched its rhythm. So ask yourself, what am I broadcasting right now? Not what you intend, but what you're actually radiating. Tune in. Is there tension behind the smile? Is there fear behind the ambition? Is there doubt beneath the surface of your affirmations? Be honest. Because the universe doesn't respond to the mask, it responds to the signal beneath it. And here's a wild truth. You don't need to be perfect to shift your reality. You just need to be aware. Awareness is the beginning of transformation. The moment you bring light to an unconscious pattern, it begins to lose its grip. The moment you choose presence over panic, love over fear, gratitude over lack, your frequency rises, and the dominoes begin to fall. We think reality is slow, stubborn, hard to change. But that's only true when we're trying to move it from the outside. When you shift from within, things can change in an instant. The right people appear. The phone rings. The idea downloads. The door opens, not because you forced it, but because you matched it. So I'll ask you again, if your inner state is the master code of reality, what are you coding right now? The mirror of the universe, why everything you experience is a reflection of you. There comes a moment on the spiritual path when you realize something so confronting, so liberating, that it changes everything. Nothing in your life is happening to you, it's happening through you. Life is not some chaotic stream of disconnected events. It's a mirror, a living, breathing, intelligent mirror, reflecting back to you the truth of who you are, your beliefs, your wounds, your energy, your unconscious assumptions. The world doesn't lie. It simply shows you what you're projecting. And that's either terrifying or empowering, depending on how ready you are to take radical ownership of your experience. Most people go through life blaming the mirror. They get angry at the reflections. They curse the job, the partner, the bank account, the news. But the mirror doesn't change until you do. You can't scream at your reflection to smile. You have to smile first, and then the reflection shifts. That's how reality works. Not reactively, reflectively. Every person you meet, every situation you encounter, every repeated pattern, it's all feedback. Not punishment, not reward. Feedback. The question is, are you listening? When something in your life keeps repeating, like toxic relationships, financial struggle, or self-doubt, it's not because the universe is against you. It's because something inside you is unresolved, and the outer world is giving you a chance to see it, to face it, to transform it. That person who triggers you, they're showing you a wound. That delay or obstacle, it's revealing your inner resistance. That unexpected blessing, it's reflecting your rising vibration. Nothing is random. Everything is meaningful, if you have the eyes to see. Now, this doesn't mean you're to blame for everything that happens. That's an ego trap. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness, responsibility. When you stop seeing life as something to survive and start seeing it as something that's showing you your own consciousness, the game changes. You stop needing to control everything externally. Instead, you go inward. You ask, what part of me created this? What belief attracted this? What vibration allowed this in? And more importantly, what can I shift now so the mirror begins to reflect a new reality? This is where healing becomes non-negotiable, because the mirror reflects your unhealed parts just as much as your empowered parts. If you carry guilt, life will mirror situations that validate that guilt. If you carry shame, you'll attract people who trigger that shame. Not as punishment, but as a call to finally face what you've buried. To finally bring love to the places you've abandoned. Because the universe doesn't want to hurt you. It wants to make you whole. But wholeness requires truth. And truth requires the courage to see yourself clearly. There were times in my own journey where I kept asking, why does this keep happening to me? The same lessons. The same pain, the same emotional loops. Until one day I stopped asking why life was so unfair, and I started asking, what is this trying to teach me? That shift from victim to student was everything. Suddenly the patterns made sense. The pain had purpose. And slowly the mirror began to reflect something new: peace, power, alignment. One of the most advanced spiritual practices is to treat every moment, especially the difficult ones, as a message from your higher self. That person who betrays you, they're showing you where you still betray yourself. That success that slips through your fingers, it's revealing where you still feel undeserving. That moment of deep connection with a stranger, it's reflecting how open your heart has become. Life is constantly communicating with you. The question is, are you decoding the message, or just reacting to the surface? And here's something wild: the more deeply you accept the mirror, the more quickly it changes. Because you're no longer resisting the reflection, you're using it, you're learning from it. And the universe loves that. It responds instantly to inner shifts. When you release resentment, suddenly the person you were resenting disappears from your field. When you forgive yourself, the situation that mirrored your self-judgment resolves. When you open your heart, people begin to meet you with more depth, more honesty, more love. Not because they changed, but because you did. So let me ask you something uncomfortable, but necessary. What part of your current reality is still mirroring a version of you that you've outgrown but haven't yet fully released? It's easy to want the reflection to change, But the mirror has no power of its own. You do. And the moment you remember that, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and start becoming the artist of your experience. That's when life begins to feel like a dance, a dialogue, a sacred collaboration between your soul and the cosmos. That's when you realize you were never stuck. You were just hypnotized by your own reflection. And now you're starting to wake up, commanding the code, how to align your inner world and manifest with precision. Once you realize that your inner world is writing the script for your outer reality, a new kind of responsibility sets in, one that's both sacred and powerful. You are not a prisoner of fate. You are a programmer of frequency. You are not waiting for life to happen. Life is waiting for you to align. This is where manifestation becomes less about wishing and more about commanding. Not through force, but through coherence. Not through desperate action, but through calibrated energy. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. And when you understand that, everything changes. Manifestation isn't a trick. It's not a shortcut. It's a natural outcome of alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions are all vibrating at the same frequency, the universe has no choice but to respond. It's law. It's physics wrapped in mystery. You're not begging the universe to deliver blessings. You're becoming the kind of person who naturally lives in the reality where those blessings already exist. And that's the secret. Don't chase the thing, become the version of you who already lives in the timeline where it's normal. So how do we do that? First, clarity. Not just mental clarity, but emotional clarity. Do you really know what you want? Or are you chasing what you think you should want? The universe responds to frequency, not noise. If your desires are rooted in fear or comparison, your signal is scrambled. But when your desire is born from soul, when it's rooted in truth, love, and purpose, it becomes magnetic. Start tuning into what truly lights you up, not what inflates your ego. Listen to the feeling beneath the thought. Second, embodiment. You can't just think your way into a new reality. You have to feel it. You have to live it now, internally, before the outer world catches up. If you want peace, become peaceful. If you want abundance, embody gratitude. If you want love, open your heart now, not when it's convenient, not when someone else earns it, but now. That's alignment. That's command. The universe doesn't respond to timelines. It responds to vibration. Third, release. You can't hold on to fear and expect freedom. You can't clutch control and expect flow. The more you try to force outcomes, the more resistance you create. True manifestation comes from surrender, not from giving up, but from letting go of the how and trusting the what. You plant the seed, you nurture the soil, and then you trust the sun, the rain, the timing. That's faith. That's co-creation. When you release attachment, you make space for miracles. The most powerful manifestations often come when we least expect them, when we're finally so aligned that we forget to worry, and life flows without friction. That's not magic. That's mastery. And it begins with the daily practice of becoming who you really are, not who the world told you to be, not who your trauma shaped you into, but the version of you that remembers, I am the creator, not the consequence. So I invite you to ask yourself right now, what version of me have I been living as? And what version of me is ready to wake up? Because you are always radiating, always creating, always shaping the field around you, even when no one's watching, even when you're doubting, even when you forget. Reality is listening, waiting, reflecting. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not powerless. You are the code. You are the signal. You are the source. And the moment you remember that, reality bends quietly, instantly, completely. Welcome back, Creator.